R4.
Yes.
It's the 1930s. Is it on?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
I was just being paranoid.
I appreciate
I
it.
know something about it. I was just like,
check it out.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Because you guys, you never know what's going to happen. One day, you could live a normal life. One day, your podcast could be recording. One day, it's not. One day, your dad loses everything in a situation entirely, seemingly his own fault.
One day, you move a bunch of strangers into your home.
And do those strangers become family? Not yet.
Hard to tell.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Can't wait to see what the arc is here. Guys, we're doing Kit.
Kit alert.
Meet Kit. She was my doll. She looked exactly like me, except she had straight short hair and I had very curly medium length hair.
Meet alternate Caroline.
Yeah, meet other Caroline, except the doll Caroline will cover eventually.
That's true. And she's got your hair texture, I think.
Yeah, but she's way prettier than I was.
Okay, she's also a doll.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. She had it more together. We'll get to it.
Okay, we'll get to it.
But yeah, no, Kit was my doll. I'm excited we're covering her. She is just there are so many things, I guess, like to just start with was I was wondering, because we found out that it was written by Miss Valerie Tripp, who we have a complicated relationship with. Which, like, what if she ever finds this bug?
Let her. I think it's
we would love to have Valerie on.
I think her nepotism into writing the amount of girls that she did warrants a fair amount of she
scrutiny.
Yes, because we've talked about it before. Maybe there's a world nobody else in the world could have written these girls. So many of them too, especially because at the point in which Kit is being released, we already know that like the proof is in the pudding. Yeah. We've got a routine, we've got a set of girls. I'm kind of agog at how many she wrote.
I know.
So
yeah. But I was a little bit worried that I was like, did I like Kit just as a little girl fantasy? Was this just because of the kind of what we were talking about in the yapping with Samantha, where it was just like, this is my doll, so she can do no wrong?
Yeah.
And I think a little bit yes and a little bit no.
Okay, that seems fair. That's judicious.
There's a lot of things that when I was reading it, like, made me very nostalgic and reminded me why little Caroline liked Kit. Yeah. A lot of her personality traits were just kind of things that I either wanted to be or saw in myself or I related to. But there is kind of some classic Valerie-ness to it in some ways.
I feel like because I know that you have a shine for her, I had like more of an innate like tenderness towards Kit, like in reading it, because I think like I didn't read your outline before I read the book, but when I was reading like the outline, I was like, oh yeah, like the things that you kind of noted were things where I was like, oh, that is kind of like Caroline coded.
Yeah.
So I feel like that helped me override the fact that unfortunately I do feel like I don't like Valerie's writing style that much in the modern girls.
I agree.
But we can get to it.
No, we can get to it. I do think, and I made a note of it, I do think she has a little problem with kind of when girls aren't in super historical situations.
Yes.
But I do think kind of the calamity of the Depression helps Kit be above Molly.
I wrote an almost identical thought at the end.
It's kind of like the fact that there is still a hardship that Kit kind of is affected by personally
actively
in her day-to-day life.
Yes.
I think that is kind of where Valerie shines a little bit.
I agree.
Like,
because she is like the article we read, if you guys didn't listen to last yap, and like in that article where she was like, oh, the girls have to act as a metaphor for the thing that they're going through. I feel like Kit is that.
I see it now.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
And she's more interesting than Molly because of that.
And she's like, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it.
As we famously say. But I also think she has a nice level of brattiness.
Oh, like, yeah, she got a spunk.
She's spunky. She's our spunkiest girl, I think.
City.
And she does get bratty about certain things, but things that I'm like, this is very understandable that you be bratty about this. Because it is like she's not going quietly into the night for the changes, And I think that's kind of, some kids would be like I guess contrasting with her older brother who's like, this is just what it is.
Right.
She's more like, this isn't fair.
Yeah,
which is
like, hey.
A chapter name.
That's right.
So should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right. So chapter 1, Good news. Is it?
Well,
so quickly it's not. So Kit and her BFF Ruthie are, which I love that like nickname.
Also, Ruthie looks exactly like that doll Rebecca.
Yeah,
Did
that's
you
true.
think that also?
Well, there's a Ruthie doll.
Yeah. But her art in the book,
yeah,
she looks a lot like the Rebecca doll. Not to immediately derail this conversation.
No. Well, what period is Rebecca in? It's Rebecca Rubin, right?
I think so.
Years. Let's just see. Because it might just be the
they
similar
are just
style.
spiritually similar.
1914.
Okay.
So it's 20 years different. Rebecca looks more Jewish.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
So I'll just say that. But I get what you're saying. Spiritually, the hair is similar.
I think I was just sort of like, wait, I've seen that girl before.
I think I've seen that girl before. And we didn't know the end.
That's right. Not yet.
I agree.
Yeah.
But this is Ruthie.
Ruthie alert.
And so Kit and Ruthie are writing out her daily newspaper that she gives to her dad about the happenings around the Kittredge house. And this is the first thing that was very Caroline coded. I was taking videos of myself and doing something called the update.
Okay.
So my sister and I would make a video.
Yeah.
That was like a news report of the day.
Daily?
No, it was like semi-weekly.
Okay.
But whenever we had time, and mostly in the summer.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, it was called the update, which
I do like
think
that.
is clever for kids.
It's cute. it's cute.
But yeah, so she gives her dad a little note about what's happened around the house while he's been at work. My first note is Kit's a bad typer. And she's Xing out things all over the place. And that wouldn't be so difficult or hard to understand if we weren't forced to read some of the book's text in Kit's really bad typing.
Yeah. I hated it because she mentions that she just X out mark everything when she messes up, and every single one of those X out marks is inside the book.
And it's like, I mean,
next to like in the middle of the text,
and the letters are like falling off the page sometimes.
I was like, I don't think it needed to be like photorealistic.
Yeah.
To it. It could have just been in like the Courier font.
Yes, exactly. It's better than some of the illegible cursive we've gotten from some more historical dolls, but it was utilized more than it needed to be.
It was in a, and then guess what? Never comes back.
No, it comes back in the second book.
Oh, you're right.
For the help wanted. Yeah. I'm interested to see if it comes in any other
every
books.
single.
I think it's gonna drop off after it learns a lesson.
You think like we'll just get the first 3, maybe, and then it won't come back.
Yeah. I think it's a fun device if she keeps it throughout, but if she drops it, then I'm kind of like, what's the point? Well, you know?
C'est la vie.
So she the newspaper is like funny because it's very boring, and it's like talking about what Kit and Ruthie are reading and why they like it, and they're both reading it back being like, this is so good.
Yeah. Nothing's ever been better.
Yeah, they're like, Dad, gonna love this.
Dad's gonna think this one's crazy.
It's like, I'm reading Robin Hood like I was yesterday, but I read a new chapter today, and this one's even cooler.
This one's even crazier.
Which is another kind of child thing where you're like, this? You know when you made a movie as a kid and you're like, this is cinema.
Oh, this is the coolest thing ever. Or like an iMovie where you used to just be able to put any clips into like the different trailer styles. Mm-hmm. And it would be like, it would hit every time. Yeah. You would just be like, wow, put in a different clip there. And then it'd be like, wow, it's like a whole new trailer.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm an auteur.
They're kind of giving that energy where they're like, we're writing poetry. We're real news women.
Well, it was just cute because I feel like kids, maybe they do. I'm not around that many kids anymore, but like I feel like kids don't do this type of like goofy stuff in the same way anymore.
Yeah. And they're doing those kids these days are doing TikTok dances.
I didn't have access to that in my day. We had to be creative all on our own. Anyway.
But they need more stories.
That's right.
Because a newspaper is nothing without multiple stories.
You have to have multiple.
And they're like, what can we write about? We can write about how Charlie, my brother, who's 16, is going to college, which left my note. I guess you went to college at 16 back in the day. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But I wish they addressed it maybe and learned a lesson, which they didn't.
No, the peeks into the past. The first one is good, but the next one I was like,
the next one was crazy sad.
Okay. I was like, oh, great. Yeah, I don't know. He also feels like he was written older than he actually is age-wise, which I think is like a little on purpose.
Yeah.
But there were a couple times where I was like, how old is this boy man supposed to be again?
He's a stoic 16-year-old.
That's right.
The American Girl community thinks he's really cute.
He's a cutie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't beat Papa.
No.
No.
Well, we need men now.
Yeah.
We're grown women.
We're American women.
We're American women looking for American men. But these are American boys.
Yeah.
For American girls.
Yeah. So they're wondering what things they should write about. And Ruthie's like, you can write about your mom redecorating your room. And Kit's like, my dad knows that happened. He lives here. And plus, I'm not really fond of my room. It's all pink and frilly.
Ugly.
And I'm not a pink and frilly girl. And I was like, relatable, because my mom always wanted to read in my room. And I remember having to beg her to let me do like pale blue walls instead of like different color, like yellow. She wanted to do like buttercream yellow or something.
Oh, that feels evil.
Yeah.
It's an evil
And
color.
I was like, please let me do blue, please. I want to do lime green, obviously, because I was a child of the 2000s.
Yeah, you're going to want a heinous color that you will get sick of.
She rightfully was like, let's just do a pale
Maybe
blue.
think about that one longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I related to Kit in not being as frilly as your mom. Oh, then another note I wanted to say in this part. It's dad and mother.
Yeah.
She like kind of has a slightly contentious relationship with her mother.
Yes.
You know?
It's very interesting.
And it kind of, I just noted that she said, because I was writing my notes out and I kept saying dad and I kept writing mom. And then Charlie said mother. And I was like, oh, does Kit call her mother too? And they both call her mother, not mom.
Yeah, that's because she's boss lady of the house.
She is. But we'll get to that.
Okay, I did think it was funny that they were like, well, that kid was like, well, we can't tell him that he knows he lives in this house. And I was like, I can't imagine that you were telling this man stuff he doesn't already know about his own household every time.
No, exactly. But it's like the certain things.
Right.
It's kid brain.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true.
And then Kit's like, you know what? Nothing interesting ever happens in this house. And we get kind of a brief description of how they're in it's supposed to be 1932, which is crazy because the book says 1934 on the cover because of that 4 thing that they like.
Yeah.
But it's...
And then there's another jump in the next book.
Yeah, a real big one.
Yeah.
It's 1932, which means it's the height of the Great Depression. So it's been going on for 3 years now. And Kit kind of briefly goes over how a lot of people are struggling, but the Kittredges have been fine so far. And nothing is ever happening in their house, and they haven't been affected by any job losses.
So far.
Yet.
Mm-mm.
So then Charlie, pops his head in and is like, girls, you better go downstairs and get you some nuts. The women at the garden club are eating everything on the table. And they're like, golly gee, there might be something interesting at garden club that we can snoop and write in the newspaper that Dad won't know about.
That's
Plus,
right.
Free food.
Yeah.
From garden club ladies of the 1930s.
And some of those ladies are kind of selfish pigs and they're eating up all the nuts.
Yeah. You got to get your nuts.
Get down there.
Hurry.
Those nuts.
Hurry, ladies. So they go down and they overhear some of the garden club conversations. And they think something is really funny where someone's phlox has spots.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because of how it sounds.
I feel like it was that.
My phlox has spots.
Like just like hee hee ha ha.
Yeah.
Silly girl wordplay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kids in this book really have like rudimentary little kid humor.
Yeah, they are little kids.
Yeah, these ones are like...
We're not having like hardened children escaping slavery here.
Yeah, no. These kids are allowed to be kids again. We're so back to
kids being
like
kids.
Us.
Where a kid can be a kid. We're back to Chuck E. Cheese.
Damn. I wish Dave & Buster's felt the way that, as an adult, that Chuck E. Cheese felt as a kid.
I know.
Just doesn't hit the same. I mean, I'll still have fun.
Maybe because of no robotics singing to you.
It could be that.
Yeah.
It could be like lack of that helicopter thing that takes you to the sky.
That was cool.
Yeah, I think we should bring this back.
I
bet Kit would like one of those.
Kit would, because she's adventurous.
That's right. She's kind of like a go-getter.
She loves like stories and like books and like
writing,
telling her own stories,
investigating,
and eavesdropping on grown women's personal financial situations,
snooping.
So all the women at Garden Club are chit-chatting, and Miss Howard says, "You know, this might be my last garden club." And they're like, oh, why? And she's like, well, Mr. Howard is having trouble finding work, and he's been looking for like a year, and nothing's turning up in Cincinnati. So we're going to try and go to Chicago, where you're going this weekend.
That's right.
And we're going to see if there's a job for us there.
Maybe
For all of us. And all the women are like, oh, that's so great. And then everyone's like, but we know that's because you guys can't afford to live in your house anymore.
Right.
So there's undertones of people like garden club members dropping like flies.
Yeah, it's so Jover.
Yeah.
Everybody's losing everything.
Yeah, and so Mrs. Howard is fretting about it because they don't have anywhere to go once they get to Chicago. So they're just going to move there, no money, no job, no nothing, with her, Mr. Mrs. Howard and their son.
Just a prayer in their heart.
Yeah, which seems like a bad idea. And Miss Kittredge steps in and says, well, why don't you and your son come move in with us while your husband like figures out his job situation. Then once he's settled, you guys can go over. Which is a crazy thing to offer without checking with anyone in your family.
This also felt like this action will have consequences moment in like more ways than one, of being like, oh yeah, like dad'll go off somewhere when we're all struggling and not come back maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, crazy thing to offer.
It's just like, can you imagine, like, even if you like with your spouse, or even like a roommate, if you have someone stay for a weekend, you like let them know before it happens, like, oh, is it okay if so and so stays over? To just invite two people who you don't know, who are only in your garden club, to live with you and your family. In the Great Depression, when things are already tight, even if your family is doing okay right now, is kind of crazy.
Also for a pretty indeterminate amount of time. I think that's the craziest thing about this, in this book and in the next, where it's just sort of like, well, at what point are you not going to live in my house anymore? Because that's the other thing too. Like, I think my heart would be open to, like, if a friend needed a place to crash, I would be like, yeah. And I could probably max out mentally at like a month before I'd need them to like go somewhere else for a little and then come back.
Yeah.
But I think that's because I live in a studio. But like, I think it would be crazy to just be like, yep, until things are better. No, you don't know. Maybe that makes me a bad person. But
no, I mean, it's your space. I think it's
so fascinating. And obviously other things happen in this book, which is why I'm not jumping ahead to what happens. But I was like, in this specific instance, I was like, it is crazy, the idea of being like, yes, you and your son will move in with me and my full family. And I have not talked to my husband about this.
Well, it doesn't even be like amended by her saying, I have to check with like John, of course, but I'm sure he'll say yes. Like, it's just weird to be like, they're moving in tomorrow. They'll be here on like Saturday, you know? And Kit overhears this and is like, golly gee, this is exciting. A boy, I am a tomboy girl. And I'm excited to have a boy live with us because he can talk to me about baseball.
It's time.
And adventure and Robin Hood.
Thank
and all
goodness.
This stuff. Because though Ruthie is my best friend, she is too into princesses.
Yuck.
Yuck.
It is very funny, actually. I think that's the coolest personality trait that Valerie Tripp could have given Ruthie. Because so far we're 2 for 2 in the books. Of her making at least one, if not multiple, references to like a fairy tale story.
Yeah, she loves a fairy tale.
Yeah, I like her.
I do like, though, as a side note with that Kit is kind of tomboyish, but not totally.
Yeah, it's cute.
And how she, like, her best friend is really, really girly, and it's not like, she's not interested in the stories as much as Ruthie is, but they're still best friends.
Well, and there's no, like tension because of it, at least like not yet. Like on page, it's just sort of like, I'm this way and she's that way, and we're like two halves of like a whole kind of friendship. I made a note that I was like, I actually really liked the way that they read on page, because they actually seem like they like each other, even though they're different, versus Molly. Yeah, Molly and her friends like all like the same stuff but don't seem to like each other. And you're like, well, what's this all about?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I also just think this is one of the other things I related to Kit with, was that she is like I I wasn't like a tomboy when I was a kid because I wasn't like good at sports or anything like that, and I wasn't like particularly boyish, but I also wasn't particularly into like super girly things. I was a neutral kind of person. Like I liked some girly things, I liked some like boy-y things, you know? It wasn't like so I always liked that Kit was like still wearing like and I think that's because of the era, but that she was still wearing dresses and she still had her best friend was super girly and she wasn't like playing in the mud, you know? But she also was like I like baseball. I like adventure stories more than princess stories. So I like that. And so they were both excited to hear that there's a boy moving in and also excited because they have a new headline for Kit's newspaper.
Thank God.
The Howards are coming to stay.
Yay.
Chapter 2. Read all about it. So we start this chapter learning that Kit's nickname, Kit is a nickname because her parents weren't insane enough to name her Kit Kittredge.
That's true.
Her real name is Margaret Mildred, which is a yuck name.
It's a little tough.
And the nickname came from her dad when she was a baby, used to sing her a song about from the Great War about grabbing your kit bag. And she used to request the song all the time and say, sing the Kit song. And so everyone just started calling her Kit because her name was Kit, like, and their last name was Kittredge anyway.
It's cute.
So I always liked her name too.
It's just very charming. It feels very little girl and it feels very like that era type of name where we were talking about like old kind of names last Yap. So I thought it was very adorable.
Yeah, I like it. And she's typing away on her typewriter and she's having to sit on her stool really high because it's a flouncy stool. And she's frustrated because she is not a flouncy girl.
That's right. Yuck.
No.
Boo.
Too much lace, too much cushion. She wants like an old man's writing desk.
Yeah, she's like, where's my smoking chair?
Yeah, exactly.
Robe?
My leather.
My cigar. She's like, I can't wait to get a job in the oil mines.
my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Yeah, she's like, life could be so much different for me.
So she's busy printing up her newspaper for her dad, detailing all the new gossip. She comes home. He comes home. She's such a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
She's real, like, Papa is my best friend. I love Daddy so much. He is so great. And so every day when he comes home, she, like, runs out and jumps into his arms and hands him the newspaper. And she hands him today's newspaper and he reads it and he goes, oh, the Howards are coming to dinner? And she goes, no, even better. The Howards are moving in. And he's like, what?
Hey. I wrote this. Imagine learning there are people coming into your home.
As you secretly know your business is failing.
Yeah, through your daughter's novelty newspaper that she makes you. And she's like, oh my God, Daddy, please. What great news. And you're like, yeah.
Where's your mom?
Where's your mom?
Let me talk to that woman.
Hang on 1 second, sweetie. Later.
Imagine you have 2 more mouths to feed.
I can't. Again, psycho behavior.
So I guess Dad and Mom talk about that off camera.
Privately.
Yeah, we don't get to see the fallout of why the hell did you do that. I haven't told you yet, but the business is all but dead.
Jover.
So later that week, the Howards are supposed to come, and Kit and Ruthie are reading on the stoop, waiting for the Howards to arrive. And she's reading Robin Hood, and she really wants to build a really big tree house. And because she knows a boy's coming, she has her baseball mitt out so that he can see that she plays, and I think that's kind of cute.
It's very she's very charming.
Yeah.
Like I do feel like Valerie did a good job of giving us like a pretty clear like showcase. Like I like that she's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Like about it all.
Yeah.
Like instead of being like kind of like shy and subtle, like a little bit of a Josefina.
Yeah.
Like I love that it's just like, yeah, well, boys love ball. So like he's gonna love to see my mitt.
Like, oh this
this
old thing.
I'm just like
this old pigskin.
I'm just like ooh, just testing out just oiling up the gears,
stretching it out,
just
you know.
Like, oh wow, I'm feeling like tossing a ball.
So she's like, this is gonna be so exciting, going to have a boy. But shock, Sterling arrives and he is a fucking wimp. And the way Kit describes him,
she's like, it's like she sees a ghost in her house. She's like, this is a horror show nightmare.
She's like, he was as pale as like the moonlight, like stringy legs, like like ghost cobwebs his hair.
Yeah, transparent
soulless
skin.
eyes.
Like she's like, I don't know about you guys, but this freak is not living in my house. But no, he is.
And I think he's just small for his age.
Okay. Do you think his mom is keeping him sick? I actually wrote that down as a second.
Think she has Munchausen's by proxy.
Okay, we will talk about it when we get to the second book because I have much more incriminating evidence towards it in the second book.
I think so.
There's just too much like weirdness in this first book
where she's like, "Oh, he's sick," and he's like, "I'm fine."
He's in his deep voice, deeper than Kit expected.
He's got like a husky voice for being such a pipsqueak.
Probably from all the medicine his mom is feeding him. Anyway, we don't have to dwell there, but filing it away for later.
Yeah. So he's kind of a dud, and Kit is like kind of concerned because she doesn't want this dud living with her. And as Celia alluded to, his mom is very fussy, and she's like, well, Sterling can't like hang out. Sterling will catch his death if he goes outside with you guys or if he does anything. And Kit kind of complains to Ruthie, like, this is not what I signed up for. And Ruthie very wisely is reading Beauty and the Beast, and she says, not everyone, like, you can't judge someone by their appearance. So maybe he's cooler than he seems, like, bleh.
Maybe he'll be a handsome prince.
But he doesn't turn out to be so far because they want to play with him in the sprinkler, and his mom says he can't do that. They want to, like, toss the ball with him, and his mom says he'll get hurt. And then he actually does get sick. Bum, bum, bum. And he's like honking his nose all the live long day. And Kit like hates him for it, which is kind of funny. And she hates the fact that the hallway smells like Vicks Vapor Rub.
Yeah.
And she's like, I will kill this kid before the cold does.
Yeah, she's like, so somebody's going to end this kid's life and it's not the virus in his body.
But then there's one day where she like, I forget why she goes into the room, but she peeks into his room and it's like stuffy as fuck. And she's like, hey, are you dying in here? Would you like me to crack a window? And he's like, yes, please. Help me.
Please.
I'm being held
That's what I'm fucking saying. His energy is crazy in these 2 books that we've read so far.
And so then he and Kit get to talking. And they start talking about a baseball player they both like, who's like a giant man. And Kit like word vomits and is like, that's crazy. You like a man who's so tall because you're so small.
And she's really kind of unfairly cruel to him. Like
she really doesn't like him.
Her descriptions of him are so crazy. She's like the sick rat mouse, like rotten boy in the corner of the room. Anyway, I guess he's fine.
And she's telling him to his face, she's like, you're so weak and small. I'm surprised you admire someone who's the exact opposite of you. And Sterling is kind of like, I call him Sterling Silver Tongue.
Okay.
He's quick with the words. He's like, yeah, that's why I like him. Because he's bigger than me.
He's so different.
And Kit's like, you know what? I read a news article a few weeks ago about this guy. I'm going to go pop into my room, bring it to you, and you can read it. And he says that sounds really cool. So Kit goes over there, grabs it. But while she's gone, Mrs. Howard has come back with her poison soup for her son. And Kit opens the door and it like smacks into her butt. And she tosses the food and the tea tray everywhere. And then everyone gets disproportionately mad at Kit.
Yeah.
In a way that I thought was kind of crazy talk.
It seemed pretty unfair to me because I feel like, yes, she was like the catalyst on a technicality.
But she didn't know.
No.
It wasn't even like she was running down the hallway like and ran into someone.
Yeah.
She opened the door maybe too quickly.
Sure. But even then, she wasn't expecting somebody to be there. She was gone for like a hop, skip, and a jump. She comes back and suddenly, oh my God, there's a person in here with a huge tray.
Yeah. And everyone's mad at her. Miss Howard's mad at her, which I hate when adults who aren't your parents get mad at you.
I feel the same way.
Especially when they're staying in your house rent free.
Oh my God. I know.
And then Kit's mother is mad at her. And I got mad at Mother because I was like, all right. And Mother's like, you're always so clumsy. You're always just running into things. Stop it. I'm like, okay, everyone, like.
Well, she's like, it's nobody's fault. And yet. And I was like, girl, be on your daughter's side.
I know.
At least a little. Like,
she's mad because like a fine China cup broke. And I understand being disappointed if that's like something nice. I don't know. I felt for Kit, and then Kit also was angry.
That's right.
And Kit has like this, like Kit like runs to her room fuming and is like, Kit could stand being in trouble when she deserved it, but she could not stand injustice. And I'm like, same girl.
She was like, I'm gonna write the craziest. She's like opening up her burn book.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna write the craziest news article of all time about what injustice has happened here today against me.
And this was where I really related to Kit, because my mom we were moving house like a year and a half ago or something, and my mom found all these like manifestos I wrote that were about how my little brother never got in trouble and how I always got in trouble. And it was because he was little and people always just said he's just a little kid. And I like posted them in our house, and it literally was like, it's not fair. We need justice.
You were like, I'm starting a smear campaign against my brother.
Honestly, I probably
Here's
read
my
this
evidence.
and wrote it. So it ends with Kit with her new headline, "It's not fair."
That's right. It's not.
So then chapter 3, it's not fair. So we're right back at it. Kit is writing her scathing review of her family in her living room. And she like rips it off the typewriter and is like, I'm gonna go sit on the stoop and wait for Dad to come home because he's gonna be on my side. He's gonna know that this is bunk. So she sits there and she's like crossed-armed, sitting out there. Charlie comes out and he's like, hey kid, what's up? And she's like, read this.
Look at this.
And he reads it and goes,
ooh,
I would hold off on this.
Not that one.
It's like, we don't need your drama today. Because guess what? Dad has lost his job. And Kid's like, wait a second, what? And he said, yeah, so apparently the business has been struggling for a few years now. Irresponsible. And Dad was trying to keep everyone employed, and so he wasn't telling their family, and he was taking out his savings to pay his employees, which is crazy. As a result, Charlie can no longer go to college, which is sad. And the Kittredges are broke, and they still owe money on their house. Yikes. So we actually get mortgages explained to us in a way that was kind of helpful.
Yeah. No, there's in this book, I was like, oh,
But yeah, explained a lot of money things to me.
yeah. I was like, fascinating. I learned something today.
So I do want to talk for a minute about Mr. Kittredge using his savings to pay his employees. That feels stupid to me.
Okay, so once upon a time, I will be nebulous about the time in which it happened, so it's not so specific. I literally worked for somebody where it was clear we were going to lose like the main like client that made us money, and I was told to assuage any fears that I had of losing my job because our owner had like taken out a number of like personal loans that she would just use to like keep the company afloat while we like tried to get like other clients. And I was like, why would you do that? Why are they personal loans?
Yeah.
There are business loans. But if you're not getting approved for business loans, that means your business is not in a good position. And that means the bank doesn't trust you.
Yeah.
So in that case, you have not assuaged my fears. You have made them worse because you just told me that this company does not have money in the way that we've been being told.
Yeah.
It has money. So I think it's crazy. Also, it's hard to tell like how long he's like been keeping up the ruse.
He lies a lot.
Yeah, look, I think I'd love to see if Kit has an evolution of becoming any bit of a not daddy's girl.
This feels like one of those situations where when she's older, she'll realize her mom was dealing with a bum.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like, my mother was always so harsh, and it's because mother's trying to keep the family together, and dad is just kind of the like Disney dad where he's just fun, you know?
Well, it is kind of given like, oh, my daughter made me my paper today. Well, I'm off to my job. Also, yeah, lie city.
Yeah, he's
Oh my
always
God.
lying.
I have to be honest, if I married somebody who couldn't tell, like,
Well, I don't think he told
That's
mother,
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that he was like the business wasn't doing well.
I was just say, we were ragging a little on mother being like, yep, we'll just do that. But it almost, I'm honestly having this realization in real time. Like, it almost makes sense though. It seems like they don't talk to each other at all. Not about like the big stuff, because this is happening and Charlie's like, I only know because dad had to tell me I can't go to college anymore.
He told mom and dad he told mother and Charlie at the same time.
Don't you think it's a little insane how much Charlie shares with Kit?
No, not as a sibling.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I think I think it's a lot for someone her age, but he does say like your family. But I also think in a weird way, if I'm going to psychoanalyze a very two-dimensional character.
Absolutely. That's kind of our job.
He has to kind of put on a brave face for his parents, and because he knows they're probably mortified that this happened, and so he can't be upset to anyone.
That's fair.
And he has to be kind of like the like strong oldest son. And I think he can talk to Kit about it a little bit more, and like because she's little, she'll be like, Charlie, that's like terrible. And I think that's that's the only person who will like say that to him. So I think part of it is just like having, because even my siblings, like two of them are very like I think the same age difference, like 7 years apart. You like it doesn't really matter as much when your siblings are younger, that stuff. Like, I don't think you think about it that way necessarily.
That's
like,
fair.
Oh, they're too young for that. Like, I think with some really big things like that, but something that you think like they're going to find out or they're going to realize this anyway, you kind of would tell them.
I think I asked the question because my like dad's siblings and my mom's siblings, like they don't all share information with each other. They're all like secret keepers.
When you get older, I think it happens.
Oh, even when there was like people, like we've learned later that like secrets kept for like 10+ years from like each other, and then you're like, huh?
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I'm only child, so I don't really know, but yeah, I don't know. I think it was more that I was just kind of like,
but this is like a family. This isn't a Charlie secret. This is a family thing.
He was just sort of like, hey.
Yeah.
It would have kind of been funny if he'd been like, you know what? Yeah, I think you're right. He's being responsible and he's putting on a brave face. It would have been a little funny if he'd been like, you know what, Kit? Up to you now that you have this info if you want to give this
to dad.
Piece of paper to dad.
Yeah, I do. I think that's good. But so Charlie aged like 10. Kit says that Charlie seems way older. Well, it's just like, I don't know. I think it's deeply irresponsible of Mr. Kittredge to have done everything he did and like fuck up his son's education like that.
Yes. Because kids are like, Charlie's like, anyway, my future's ahead of me. Just kidding. It's not ahead of me at all.
Guess I'm gonna go work like a newspaper route.
Yeah. I guess I have to go get bitch work jobs or whatever I can beg.
Which means I'm assuming he also spent Charlie's college savings.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yes.
It like kind of makes me sick to my stomach.
No, it is like, it's an insane level of irresponsibility.
And I know the Depression was bad.
There's
I'm not saying
a lot of loser dads in this book.
Yeah, there's a lot of deadbeat. The theme of the 1930s, deadbeat dad.
Deadbeat dads.
So deadbeat dad, Kit's dad, comes home, and she like runs up to him, but he had to sell his car that day, so he's not driving home. He's walking home. And she's like, hey, Dad, is it true? Did we lose everything? And he's like, yep. And she's like, is this going to be okay? And he goes, can't say. I don't know. Probably not. And then Kit.
He did not do a good job.
None of them do a good job of assuaging Kit's fears.
No.
Everyone's like, we don't know what's going to happen, which I understand they don't. But
it just feels like, kind of to your point, like she is the youngest, so I think there's no harm in telling her like everything up front. But it does feel like maybe we could whisper a little bit of a sweet lie.
Yeah.
At least in the moment.
We'll figure it out, you know, like.
It will all work out. Yeah. Like, time will tell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we grew up during, not the same thing, but like the 2008 financial crisis, you know, and I know my parents, their jobs were kind of hit by it because people weren't, like using their service as much as they did previously. And like my parents weren't idiots.
Yeah. They weren't like, let's hemorrhage money now at a weak time financially in our country.
Yeah, but I remember there was a time when they did sit us down and they were kind of like, I mean, I think the way they posed it, which was a little silly, but I think a good way for kids, because I was like, I was 14, so I was a little older, but they all talked to us like, hey guys, like finance, they're really tough for everyone in America right now. Like, And my sister was really worried. And my dad's like, we just might be going on like less vacations. And like, I think it was more than less vacations, but I think that's the easiest way to like tell kids, like,
To explain
we're not doing
it.
as much fun stuff as we used to, you know?
We're going to play like board games at home or
Yeah.
watch a movie on VHS that we
Yeah.
already own.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it does feel like the adults are being brutal with Kit. And so Kit stays up all night fretting about the financial ruin of her family. And so she decides to stop fretting and get up and make a list of all the things that she can give up that will help the family financially. And she starts with like new dresses, dance lessons. And she's like, wait a second, these are all things I don't want to do.
Yeah, she was like, wait, perfect.
And then she's like, I guess I'll add some things I actually want to do. So she had some of her actual things that she thinks she could sacrifice. And then later that day, like the next day, she's sad. So she's hiding underneath the crawl space of their home. And Ruthie finds her and she's like, how'd you find me, Ruthie? And Ruthie's like, I'd be here. So I figured I'd look for you.
Yeah. I understand
Which
you.
is good
bestie.
friends.
Yeah, it's cute.
And so then Kit tells Ruthie everything. And then she tells her plan to give up all these things. And she goes, this'll help, right? And Ruthie is like, sure. Maybe.
I do feel like Valerie buried the lead because in the second book, it outright says, like, Ruthie's family who had lots of extra money.
Ruthie's dad's a banker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, Ruthie, like, you know what? You're right. Say whatever. You need to be the girl who tells Kit everything going to be all right. But like you said, she's a little unconvincing.
Yeah. And then the chapter ends wondering what they will, like, how they can earn money. So we have chapter 4, which I forgot to write down the title of. Do you have it?
No, I'm just following your outline.
Oh, no. Chapter 4.
Something.
Yeah, we'll find it. We'll say it in the comments, guys. Chapter 4. So Dad's not having luck finding a job. And it's been a few weeks. And Kit and Mother are shelling peas when her Uncle Hendrik pulls up. And Kit describes him as a tall, rich, lonely, angry man. And he lives in a tall, gray house in downtown Cincinnati. And he is her mother's uncle. So he's her great uncle. And every time he comes over, he makes Kit recite state capitals or do complicated multiplication problems. And he asks her a multiplication problem that's like, if I had a bushel of 25 Brussels sprouts, how much could I sell them for a peck? And I was like, I don't know.
This man's vibe is so evil and heinous.
He is like a cartoon villain a little bit.
Yeah, he's also in this chapter for such a small amount of it.
I can't believe he got a picture.
Yeah. Okay, I agree.
In the front of the book, yeah.
I was like, hello?
Uncle Hendrik?
This man's not, I mean, maybe he'll come back, but I was like, this man
doesn't deserve a photo.
No, he just came to like shit all over them and then be like, anyway, bye.
Yeah, he came and was like, I knew you guys would fuck up Margaret. Side note, Kit's mother named her daughter after herself.
I did say, again, I know if you guys don't know why I have my thoughts,
listen to the Yap.
Listen to the Yap. It's a good one. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
We can't be more creative.
No.
I think Margaret's a cute name.
Yeah.
But Margaret Mildred,
there's no way that was ever a young person's name.
Why do we need 2 Margarets in the house?
Yeah.
Also, I think that's confusing.
You know what's funny?
I'd love to know.
My grandma's name was Margaret Mary, and her sister's name was Mary Margaret.
You know what? I would kind of give it a pass because I think that's funny.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think that's clever. That's like just goofy
just switch
enough.
it around, yeah.
It is just silly funny enough. I just think like I don't know. It feels like a curse. I just feel like it kind of feels like a curse.
Yeah. No.
It's just the Celia lukewarm take.
The Celia tap
of this area.
Don't do that.
You know what? If somebody really wants to justify it, really, you better have a damn good argument. But leave it in the comments and I'll read it.
Yeah.
And if somebody convinces me, but only
if somebody convinces her,
I'll respond accordingly.
But yeah, so Uncle Hendrik basically just came here to yell at her for 5 minutes about how stupid she and her husband were for buying this house, and now they're going to be destitute on the streets. And Mother gets angry, and she's like, nah, we'll do something. He's like, yeah, what are you going to do? And she's like, we're going to turn it into a boarding home, and we'll take people in. And he's like, what? And she's like, it's a really respectable thing to do.
People need help. We have the space.
And she's like, yep, that's what we're going to do. And he's like, leaves in a huff. He's like, I can't believe that's the plan. And then Kit comes out and says, Mom, is that the plan? And Mom says, maybe. Again, Mom makes a decision without checking with Dad.
Yeah. And again, I'm sorry. Like, he just really, like, there was no real intention behind his visit, it felt like.
No. Felt like they could have come to this decision without Uncle Hendrik showing up.
Yeah, it felt like maybe it could have just been like Mom's crying in the kitchen and Kit comes in and then they come up with the idea together.
Yeah. Or Mom and Dad are talking about it. Even though they don't talk.
Seems like they're probably sleeping in different beds.
Yeah.
If even in the same room.
Maybe not. Not now that they have boarders, because everyone's house or rooms are switching up.
This part is insane.
Yeah. So they moved Charlie to the porch, which I can't tell the logistics. I think it's like a sun porch.
Yeah, I think it's
so
like
I think it's windowed. Yeah. Like a English sun porch maybe. So Charlie's sleeping on the sleeping porch is what they call it. And then Sterling and his mom are going to move into Kit's room. And then Kit is going to move to the attic. Attic
Stinky.
girl. And Kit does not like that this is happening. And she hates Sterling even more.
Yeah, she's like, this is somehow that little freak ghost boy's fault.
So she has a meltdown.
I'm going to kill him if he's not already dead.
She has a meltdown. And this is very funny because she does not like her room. So she's really losing her mind about losing something she has been complaining about the entire book. And Charlie's sleeping on the porch, so she arguably got the better deal.
Yeah, I was like, hey, babe, seems like, what are we complaining about? Your brother's going to be subjected to the elements of the outdoors for the next however long he stays in this house, and you just have like a dingy room now.
It's kind of wild.
It's nuts.
It's also, I think you have it in your notes, it's kind of wild that the Howards don't at this point be like, you know what, you guys have a lot going on. We'll leave.
Oh, okay, but no. So specifically what drove me crazy is in the book, mother is like,
hello, Mother.
Well, we'll run a boarding house. And then they're kind of like, well, what about the Howards? And Mother goes, well, we will make them pay rent now. And so, okay, because this comes up in the second book, I'm going to address it now. It does seem a little disingenuous to welcome someone under no cost into your home and then be like, by the way, you still have a room here. We're going to make more room for you. Or like you guys are going to shove off together rather. But now you owe me rent.
What I imagine happened was she told them they were like their financial situation changed and they were going to board and they were welcome to board there. But if they wanted to find somewhere else, like that would be fine.
That could be true.
Is what I'm guessing.
That could be true. But I was just kind of like, well, but then we know what happens in the next book. So then it's kind of
I have an issue about that. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll get to it. But yeah, so I don't know. I think like because, again, and I do think this is a weird thing that happens with Valerie's more modern books. Because it happened to Molly sometimes. You'll get like a part of the narrative and you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Thinking you're going to follow the thread and like the next little page. And then it's like, anyway, that problem has been solved now. And you're like, wait. It actually seems kind of crazy what you're doing here. So anyway.
That's how Valerie writes.
That's how she writes. So
Kit is upset. She is bereft. And Ruthie has come over to help Kit move her stuff up into the attic. And Ruthie is reminding Kit that she didn't like her bedroom anyway.
You know what? Good on Ruthie.
And Kit is like, it doesn't matter. It was my bedroom. And now she's like, if I had wanted to leave it, it would have been fine. But the fact that it was taken from me,
I'm mad.
And I get it.
Yeah. It's very accurately little girl coded.
Yeah. And then Ruthie's trying to cheer her up. Ruthie's a very good friend.
I loved Ruthie.
I do like Ruthie.
She, other than maybe like Elizabeth, is the first one where I was like, I understand why there was another doll here made.
Yeah.
Like,
no, Ruthie's quite vibrant.
Properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. Well,
they're a package deal, kind of.
Yeah, it's cute. Like, she actually has a personality. And like we already said earlier, they're good foils of each other.
Yeah.
They're not like copy paste the same girl. And I like that you can tell like that Ruthie's like, okay, Kit, I kind of get what your vibe is, but like buck up.
Yeah.
It's going to get better.
Yeah. And so then she's trying to like cheer her up and she says, your mother is so good at decorating and stuff. I bet she can make this look really, really pretty and cool. And Kit's like, you're right. But she's wrong because Mother has no time to help her. And Mother tells her like, shove off, kid. And then Kit goes upstairs and she starts to cry because she's feeling very frustrated. She's only 9 and this is a lot for a 9-year-old to deal with. And everything she finds in the attic is icky, disgusting, and old and moldy, and she doesn't have any idea where to even start, which is kind of crazy that they didn't even give her furniture.
Yeah, it is just kind of like, here's some boxes and wood. Yeah. And like one blanket.
They're like, you use whatever you find up there. It's like, what is there a bed up there?
Yeah, what do you mean? She's 9.
So she's sniffling and crying, and Sterling comes up. And she's like, fuck, this loser freak is gonna see me cry.
She's like, ghost. Ghoul.
Ghost boy.
And he's like, please, it's just me.
He's like, it's like,
I'm off the meds right now, so like, I can help you.
He's like, my mom forgot to get the soup, so I'm fine for a day. And
I'm not sedated.
And he like looks around, he tells her like kind of, I'm sorry that we took your room, and she sniffles. And he kind of checks out the attic, and he hands her back her baseball picture, and he says, it is kind of cool though that you have all this space to do whatever you want with. And then he leaves. Just pops that in.
Yeah. You know what though? Kudos to him.
Because he gives an idea to our young Kit.
That's right. And Kit's like, I'm going to pretend it wasn't from him though.
It was my idea.
Kind of is her energy.
Sorry, doing Sterling's voice.
No, I understand.
So she's like, haha, I'm going to make this my own personal space. And so she goes to work. She scrubs all the floors. She cleans everything. She decides she only needs half the attic, so she shoves all the shit in one corner. And then she makes a baseball corner, a like printing press corner, and a Treehouse Robin Hood extravaganza corner.
Yeah.
And I remember reading this and being so jealous that Kit got to move into the attic and decorate it however she wanted. I thought that was like the coolest thing.
Big time.
And so she starts to like her new room.
Yeah, she's like, maybe everything's starting to turn around for old Kit dog.
It's probably also way bigger than her room was.
I was thinking the same thing.
Attic. It's like half the floor, I'm assuming.
And I imagine it's sort of like a tent shaped, I guess. Yeah. I imagine. So
no, it says it has like a
little eavement. So I don't know. I'm like, why not?
Yeah,
that's fun.
So she gets it all decorated, and then Mother comes up to like kiss her goodnight, and Kit is looking at her mother, looking at her room, and Kit thinks, and she hates this. This is not what she would have done at all. And Mother says, well, this isn't what I would have done, but it's you.
Well, and then they have like a whole extended conversation about like the Great Depression and like when things will or won't get better.
Yes.
She continues to not be like assuaged of any of her fears of change coming. And then her mom's like, well, I don't know. Maybe the end of the Depression will end up being like whatever you did to this room. Yeah, it's like an insane, you noted it too. It's an insane read like of her daughter. She's like, yeah, things are going to be really bad, and then they're going to kind of still be bad, and the way we get out of it will be bad. Kind of like whatever you did here. Well, whatever ugly vibe you did with no help 9-year-old.
Well, it's also like even still as like an adult, sometimes if I'm fearful of something, I'll talk to my mom, and if my mom doesn't know the answer, she'll say something along the lines of, there's always like hard times, but they come and go and like they pass, and then everything's fine in the end. Like we've been through like difficult presidencies, difficult things like that in the past, and it always rights itself. And whether or not that's true, that's all they had to say.
Correct.
And they did it.
Again, just like one little lie, a little white lie never killed anybody.
Yeah. And so Mom is kind of like, you know what? Like, changes happen all the time. We don't know how much we're going to change with all this crazy shit we have to do because of your father's financial mishandling of our lives.
Changes for Kit, for sure.
But changes for Mother.
Yeah. Divorce for Mother.
But she's like, changes might be good. And then Kit thinks about it.
Do you think they're going to get divorced?
No.
Okay.
This is our thing.
Oh, we just made that up.
Yeah. I think so. I don't remember, but
okay.
I think Dad is not at fault for anyone except for us.
Okay.
But
that could be true.
Yeah.
And we've never done that before.
No. We've never predicted the exact ending of a book before. But yeah, Kit goes to bed thinking changes can be good. That's a great headline. Yeah. It's not, but
the end.
The end of Kit. I forgot that in this book she only moved into the attic in the very last chapter.
Again, I think great personality-driven book.
Thank God she's got a good personality.
And you know, the plot's not bad.
Yeah.
But it did just kind of feel like we got to hit these mile markers.
Yes. Check.
Check. Set the stage.
Yeah. So peeking to the past.
Woof.
The Great Depression. Honestly, really explained the Great Depression well.
You know what's funny? I know I learned about the Great Depression when I was younger, but I don't think it stuck as actively as like other periods of history. Yeah. So reading for the first time like the Peanut Packers, I was like, oh my god. I just like forgot how bad it was.
Yeah.
I think like that's really what I was struck by. Like,
well, it's like I
the
guess
scale of how terrible it was for so many people.
Well, yeah, and it also explained the stock market, which I wasn't really sure what was. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, yes.
I know
Yes.
what the stock market is, but like it was nice to
But I
hear
think but similarly, I think when you learn about this period of history, you're still like a little too young to understand like investments and the way that like cash flows affect like banks versus affects like loans versus affects businesses and like how the banks interact with like businesses different than people, different than like the market. So I think like when you're a kid, the money crash component I feel like doesn't click in the same way.
Well, and I guess also one thing that I've always kind of wondered about it is like I knew the stock market crash was one of the main features of the Great Depression, but I was having trouble figuring out why that was so terrible because it obviously is bad. Guys, don't trust either of us with your finances, but it's
words would never come out of my mouth.
It's obvious. Like I have money in the stock market, but I only invest extra money in the stock market. So if I lost that, I would be very annoyed, but it would not change my financial situation, like beyond like my like nest egg a little bit. But my day-to-day finances are the same. Yeah. But what they say in this, which I didn't realize, was that people were taking out loans to buy stock, which makes sense as to why when it failed and like everything crashed, they now owed money on the stock that failed.
Yep.
Which I don't think you're allowed to do anymore.
No, there's still like fishy kind of things that people will do to try to like increase the value of something artificially and then sell out from under it. It's still technically illegal. Like that's what happened with the GameStop.
Yeah.
Like crash.
Yeah.
With like that stock. But yeah, I don't know. You know what's funny? I don't know if you read the same type of history like little like books in school, but I like a vivid memory of in like my Great Depression section the photo of like the people standing outside the banks with like the wheelbarrows of money, because that's how like essentially useless like that cash was at that time. Like it was worth something but it wasn't. It was just crazy to think about.
So yeah, they were buying, and then this is also when credit started getting big, and so a lot of people were buying things on credit. Guys, don't buy more than you can afford on credit in any era.
Credit is evil.
Credit is a little evil. And so as the debt grew, a chain reaction happened, and then people weren't buying as much, so industries started to fail, and then people, like, everything just started to fail. And President Hoover was kind of like, you know what, let's just pretend it's not happening, and we can get through it. And this always makes me think of the song in Annie. Like, we'd like to thank you, Herbert Hoover. And it's like Annie runs into Hooverville, which is what they would call like slums. And she meets a bunch of like hobos and they sing a song about it.
It's been a long time since I've seen Annie.
It's only in the stage version.
Oh, and I don't think I've ever seen that
version.
Like,
we'd like to thank you, Herbert Hoover, for really showing us the way. And then there's this one line in it where like they're like, I used to winter in the tropics. It's like, I used to summer at the shore. And then a guy goes, I used to throw away the paper. And they go, he don't anymore. And he like stuffs the paper and just like pants. And I was like, what is he doing with it?
Toilet paper.
I guess so.
Shitting on it.
So no one liked Herbert Hoover.
That's right.
But I did like that in this they explained why the apples thing was a thing.
Yeah.
So basically, if you've seen pictures of the Great Depression and people are selling apples, it's because Big Apple tried to basically help boost the economy by giving people who are out of work like a bushel of apples for like $1.50.
How many pecks can you sell that for?
I don't even know what a bushel or a peck is. I think that's so rude to put those measurements in. What is that?
Okay, while you finish your thought, I'm gonna look it up.
So you'd get the bushel for $1.50 and you could sell it for 25 cents or 5 cents each. And so you'd get $1.75 from it. So you'd make 25 cents. every time you sold a bushel of apples, but the supply chain of apples fell off quickly and they couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's a little funny. The like essentially like band-aids they tried to put on their gush of water coming out of a leaking dam, if you will. Yeah. Hoover Dam, mayhaps. Okay, are you ready for a quick math lesson that I'm already having a hard time
Let's do it.
Okay, so 1 bushel equals 4 pegs. They are both terms for dry volume measures of quarts. A bushel is 32 quarts, while a peck is equal to 8 quarts, or a quarter of a bushel. Did that help?
So sometimes when people say math to me, my brain shuts off. I didn't hear anything you just said.
No, the other day, I don't remember. I was talking to one of my coworkers, and we were talking about math and whatever, and I go, oh, well, math's fake, and it doesn't mean anything to me. And he goes, Celia, and I went, no, I mean it. What real equation have I used? Yeah. And I'm not talking about finances. That's different money. I can do that money. I can do that math in my brain. Money math is different math.
This is crazy.
What the fuck do I need to solve a proof for? I've never solved a proof as an adult, okay?
It's just crazy, and my brain doesn't think that way, and it just short circuits, and it hurts.
So much like Kit, we too will never know the answer to her uncle's math riddle.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to go back and solve it.
If you guys know the answer, let us know, and then tell us how you got there in the easiest way. You could tell.
Don't. I swear to God, if you use bushel and peck in your explanation,
we're blocking
we'll freak out. We will delete your comment.
So, people turn, because it kind of ends with saying how people would turn to the movies for escapism, and has just a brief thing about like Shirley Temple, Greta Garbo, Cary Grant.
Greta Garbo.
Yeah, and how that was just like kind of the one thing that people could cling to in this life was the dancing styles of a 3-year-old girl.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
And that's kind of the end of the Peek into the Past. I made one note about how this takes place in 1932, even though the front cover says 1934, which just feels like.
And the next book happens a year later.
Is it a year later?
It says that they moved in last summer. So I guess in my head I was doing.
No, I think it's just a few months later.
You think it's like the fall?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So my final thoughts on this were, I love Kit. She's my girl. I think you're right with kind of the Valerie-ness of it. I think she does struggle a little bit when you can't put us fully in an era and there's a little too much familiarity.
Yeah.
I don't remember Dad being such a dud.
I know, bummer.
But I think Kit has going for her that I think she has a really strong and endearing personality. I think being, again, I like the fact that even when they have like the like outgoing girls versus the shy girls, they all have their own thing. Like, I had forgotten before we reread this that Kit really loves books and adventure, and she kind of relates everything to that, or to kind of newspaper and wanting to be a journalist and wanting to find out the answers to things. And like that sets her apart from like, say, Felicity or like Molly, even though she has some similar like spunky characteristics of them, you know? So yeah. I'm excited to keep reading Kit, and I'm excited to see. I don't really, as much as I liked her, I don't really remember what happens in her books that much. So I'm excited to kind of reread them.
Get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Slay. I liked her too. I said she's a cutie. I definitely think she's got the more direct influence of her time period for her than Molly, which we talked about earlier. I did have the caveat, like, of course, like Molly's dad was away, but I think like we struggled a little bit. Or I struggled, especially with like those books, because it was just sort of like in my head, oh, the most interesting thing about like learning about the world wars is about what was happening overseas, not necessarily in the home front. And she did her best, but it wasn't enough for me. But I do think like it'll be interesting going forward because, like you said, we're in the peak of the bottom of it all. Like we're scraping the bottom of when it was worse for everybody. I think it's interesting. I think it makes her like sunny disposition like stand out a little bit more. Even like her spunk in the next book, especially, that like even though the world is kind of kicking her down, she's like, well, I'm gonna put up a good fight.
Yeah,
like not on my terms.
Oh, we got another fighter.
Yeah, I like her. I feel like she's a biter too.
Yeah,
I feel like she'd bite.
Or she plays dirty, I think.
Oh
yeah,
big time. I said, yeah, my only thought was I think my only beef isn't with her or her story really at all, but that I didn't feel like a lot of things happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did, but like I finished the book and was just kind of like, wait,
Yeah.
what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Or I feel like this book does this weird like tell not show.
Mm-hmm.
That's the modern era problem.
Yeah.
I feel like is what that's like the cherry on the thought there. But anyway, I just think my adult brain yearning for a little bit more. I said I'm excited to learn more about her. She's cute, and I appreciate that Ruthie seems like she's actually Kit's friend.
I agree. And guys, if you actually have a friend, then share this with your friend who reads different books than you.
Share this with your friend who would find you in a dark crawl space.
Share this with your brother who couldn't go to college.
Share this with the scary ghoul who lives in your guest bedroom.
Share this with your friend who you're worried their mom has Munchausen's by proxy.
Share this with your dad who's kind of a deadbeat.
And share this with your mother who you have a complicated relationship with. And you know what, guys? If you like Kit, if you like American Girl dolls, if you like Celia, if you like Caroline, like and subscribe, comment, tell us like your math skills. Tell us if you think that Miss Howard has Munchausen's by proxy, and let us know what you think of Kit and
Send us your
Valerie's
love.
writing. Yeah.
Send us your love.
Send us your love, and until next time,
Bye.